See, meditation, our mind, our nervous system is very noisy. Okay, the lot of thoughts keeps on rising, falling, and we will get a lot of sensory inputs every minute, millions and millions of inputs which comes through sensors, which will bombard the nervous system. So nervous system is typically noisy because different types of inputs will come. Okay, in deep sleep, the nervous system is sensory inputs are less, the nervous system cools down, and there's a relaxation, right? But awareness also is reduced in the deep sleep. We have two scenarios where in waking state the nervous system is very noisy and awareness is there. In deep sleep state, nervous system noise has gone down, but there is no awareness has come down. So meditation is a stage where you are aware, but nervous system noise has come down drastically. So if nervous system noise comes down, what happens to you? Nervous system noise is there. Okay, there is an intelligence which filters through the nervous system. It's reduced because it's pulled in multiple directions. When the nervous system noise comes down, okay, it's like a receiver, a radio receiver with very less noise, very clean reception. So in the sense that higher order of intelligence can penetrate through the nervous system and operate through the nervous system. Okay, otherwise it's scattered. So in meditation process, we systematically reduce the noise in the nervous system. Okay, by reducing the noise in the nervous system, we are able to operate at the higher intelligence level compared to a noisy system. Every day we have something like 60,000 thoughts which run through our mind, and each thought creates a ripple in the noise in the signals in the nervous system. In addition to that, some millions of inputs come to our body through various sense organs. So it's like you can imagine the nervous system is like a lake constantly stirred, constantly waves are there. So meditation is a process by which you silence those waves. What happens when you do that is the nerve and awareness is there. The now nervous system has the ability to operate at a higher intelligence level. First thing. So there means a lot more things will be clear in life compared to noisy situation. Alright? Imagine you are sitting in a marketplace and trying to study. Okay? You can't study because so much of noise is bombarding you. Okay? But you sit in a room and close the door and study. The noise is cut off, so you are able to focus and study better. Right? So same situation happens when the nervous system noise is reduced, our ability to operate, think clearly increases. Okay, this is what is called meditation. Reducing the noise in the nervous system, making the mind silent to be able to operate at higher order intelligence. Now that higher order intelligence is what we call as God. Okay, a fraction of that operates through us. That's called human body. Shiva and Jiva. Shiva means higher order intelligence. Jiva means individual intelligence. Now in the individual intelligence is why a higher order intelligence cannot operate through individual fully is because of the noisy system. Sunlight is there, sun is there. Now the sun can get reflected in water, stone, or mirror, right? In the mirror, reflection is very clear. Sun is same. So similarly, the higher order intelligence called Shiva, when it operates through different nervous system, if the nervous system is noisy, the intelligence which filters through is very less. When the nervous system is purely silent, Like a mirror reflecting sun, higher order intelligence reflects through the nervous system in a much more efficient and beautiful way. So meditation is a process which facilitates that. And meditation is not at all complex. It's a very simple process, not the privilege of few. Systematically silencing the nervous system with full awareness. Right? So a point will come when the nervous system gets accustomed to this mode of operation of silence. Otherwise, nervous system is constantly under pressure. Right? What type of pressure is under nervous system and is under every day? Our system is designed for fight or flight. Any situation in life we see as survival. Right? Every situation we evaluate, fight or flight. So nervous system gradually comes out of this fight or flight mode as you do prolonged meditation. It is neither fight nor flight. It is a silent mode. Any operation will be done through silence. So that is when where a lot of intelligence comes to your life, and that is called God connectedness to God, because you are able to the system becomes more recipient of a higher order intelligence. That is the connectedness to Shiva. Shiva is Jiva, Jiva is Shiva. Only thing is Jiva is operating through a noisy nervous system. When the nervous system becomes silent, the higher order intelligence operates through that body mind complex. That's called Shiva. Huh?
Then why should I not meditate forever? Why should I come out of meditation?
Yeah, I mean, if you can afford to do, why should I not meditate forever is the question. If you can afford to do that, see, for us, we need to do work for survival. Otherwise, body mind complex cannot survive, right? Nobody will feed us. Okay. If you have, let's say, privilege of meditating for a month, 15 days in silence, that's good, because ultimately we need something to do, maintain our body mind complex, right? Survival, interact. Then other thing is that you don't need to meditate all the time. After after some practice of meditation, prolonged practice, nervous system operates in that mode throughout the day. It's not that you have to sit with the eyes closed. The nervous system has cooled down. Okay, it operates through a silent mode throughout the day. So then, whenever you are operating or meeting or interacting in the world, still you are silent. The nervous system is not getting agitated. It's not that you have to meditate all the time. After certain, it's like cycling, right? Initially, when you cycle, you know somebody needs to hold you. But after some time, you don't need nobody to need to hold you. You can just cycle, right? After some amount of silencing of the nervous system, you don't need that much of time to be spent on just meditation, because whatever work you do, it will be more efficient. It's out of meditative state. The state of meditation propagates throughout your life, not just during meditation. Okay, so then what happens is whatever you do becomes meditative. It becomes beautiful, because what you do is not out of noisy mental state, but through a very silent higher order intelligence. Whether you do medicine, whether you do engineering, whatever you do, it becomes beautiful. The intelligence penetrates in that.
And why did all these yogis that we see in olden days, why did they like go to Himalayas? And how could they meditate for years and years and years, but
No,
still
no,
live?
no, no, no. It's not actually why did yogis meditate for years and years. It's not meditation they spend years and years. It is a lifestyle. Like you have chosen a lifestyle to stay in this country and do practice. They have chosen a lifestyle to stay, not to do any work, but to spend time on themselves. That's a different. Don't mix up lifestyle with meditation.
But then they, uh, how could they still live without not eating
No, no, they
or
eat.
no?
They eat. There will be some amount of eating. There are some people who don't eat. Okay, that's different. This thing that's called what we call they live on the energy of sun and that type of thing. But they don't mix up that with meditation. There are some extra abilities they have, whatever reason. Meditation is simple process of reducing noise in the nervous system. Okay, don't. There are a lot of superficial things which we don't mix up. Somebody has, let's say, I mean, I mean, you can live one food a day with one meal a day. Probably I need a 3 meal a day. Okay, right? That is only our ability, nothing to do with meditation. A meditative state is mind is silent with a higher order of intelligence operating. That's it. How do you achieve it? With the shortest possible time or quickest possible way is called meditation process.
Then what is controlling of senses? When you say you should control your indriyas.
See, these are all actually people are getting confused with the cause and effect. Okay, a person who is meditative is a master of his senses. Somebody who is controlling senses is not necessarily meditative. What is the cause? What is the effect? If your mind becomes silent and higher order intelligence works through you, then naturally you will be very discriminative. What is the right thing to do? What is not right thing to do? Okay, that's control of senses. Now, by controlling senses, you cannot make mind silent, right? So what happens is that people are actually the cause and effect. People are confusing. A meditative person is brings a intelligence into his operation, where he is discriminative in operating in the world. So that's called control of senses. But it is a very naturally happens to a person who is meditative. It is not the vice versa true.
But even to start meditation, I have to control my senses,
No,
right? That
no,
I should sit quietly, not think, listen to anything, not think about anything.
no. See, to meditate, I need to control my senses is the question. A meditation is a very natural and simple and enjoyable process. A control means suppression, force. What is natural? What is the force in that? Huh? If something is natural, okay, walking. While walking, I have to control my leg, my hand. Is that what you say? It's a natural process. Meditation is a very natural process for which you don't need to apply force. If you apply force, then again the nervous system will be under stress. The question is, are you doing in a natural way or not? Is the question. There are a variety of meditations. Okay, each of them have their own applications and utility. If you are doing a meditation natural way, there is no force involved. My nervous system becomes silent very naturally. Then where is the question of controlling something? The control happens as a byproduct, not because you control something happens. The cause and effects are confused here. If you are enjoying music, okay, then you'll forget everything else around. There are people who watch cricket, right? When they're so engrossed in the cricket, there is nothing else they will see. Mother shouting, father shouting, nothing will happen. Everything, nothing goes to their mind because they're engrossed. So are they controlling their senses? It's a natural process, right? When you are completely engrossed in something, you feel naturally focused. By focusing, oh, you focus on cricket, you control your senses, you say, it doesn't work that way, right? When you're absorbed in good music, nothing else come to your mind because mind is completely focused on that. Now then you say, no, 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 you are focused on the music, controlling all sense organs. Do you say that? The controlling of sense organs happens as a byproduct of listening to music. Similarly, controlling of sense organs happens as a byproduct of meditation. We should not confuse the cause and effect. Many of the people who don't understand this cause and effect very clearly, they reverse the cause and effect and say, to control, due to meditation, control has to be done in the senses. It's not correct.
Then, uh, like you said, if some people are watching, for example, cricket, and for when they're into cricket, they forget about everything else.
Correct.
Or when they're playing cricket, they forget about everything else. Then is that something in is that the purpose of their life in that lifetime because they forget everything? It's like, for example, probably maybe for Sachin Tendulkar, the purpose of his life was to play cricket, and because he forgot everything else while he played it,
No, see the purpose of life. Yeah. The purpose of life, don't confuse the action of life. Okay. So you're asking Sachin Tendulkar's life, his purpose of life is cricket, you said. So purpose of life never confuse action. Purpose of life is for everybody, it's same simple. To be happy all the time and to avoid suffering. Some people achieve it in different ways. Sachin Tendulkar achieves through cricket, somebody else achieves through some music, somebody achieves through dance. Okay. Now, these are all, whether cricket, dance, or music, also meditative processes. When you are completely intensely focused on one thing, the nervous system noise comes down because whole of activity is focused on one in one direction. So these are all called dynamic meditation. Meditation in action. So when the mind is completely focused on thing, the mind becomes silent, and the nervous system becomes silent, and you feel a joy and deep peace settling within. So that's why these people play cricket. Some people climb the mountains. Okay. When you climb the mountains, it's not easy. It's a very intense activity. Mind is completely focused. Okay. The mind becomes focused. When the mind becomes focused, then thousands of nervous system impulses that are coming, it is reduced. Okay. So then what happens? They feel elation and joy inside, right? But these are all meditations. In a sense, they are meditations, focusing, or what is it, mountain climbing and all those things. Okay, but meditation is a very natural, simple process. You need to do all those things. You can do sit simply and observe the breath in certain way that nervous system cools down. All right. Okay, and there's another difference there. In these activities, there is a meditation. Okay, all these activities, but there is no wisdom opening up. A wisdom opening up is also accompanied by meditation. Wisdom is, what is the wisdom is that I am not an individual, I am a part of the connected whole. I am not just Jiva, I am Shiva. So that wisdom has to open up. That's called enlightenment. Many of these activities like watching cricket, watching movie and all are absorbing, but there's no accompanied higher intelligence. Okay, right? Because you are getting inputs through sense organs. Okay, you are not getting the input through higher order intelligence within you. So there is some sort of meditation, there is some sort of focus, there is a joy, elation, but there is no higher order wisdom which is coming in that process, because you are not tuning to higher order of wisdom in that process. So meditation is a very exclusive process where the mind becomes silent and you are tuning to higher order of intelligence, where there is a wisdom compared to a simple joy and happiness.
So then the so then the purpose of life is to understand, to get the wisdom.
Yeah. So the purpose of life is to, again I'll repeat, the purpose of life is to get infinite happiness and avoid suffering.
Yes.
So that can happen only when you understand your natural state. Okay, which means through meditation, which means there is a wisdom required, right? Otherwise, people keep on trying to get happiness through many things. So, but they are limited happiness. They are happiness. They are limited in nature, and after every happiness, there will be some amount of sort of depression. Oh, cricket, my team has won. No, my team lost. So there is amount of depression, right? So what happens is that in meditation, you make your nervous system so silent and peaceful that silence and peace becomes your inner nature. Then gradually, it becomes clear to you, I am operating through a higher order of intelligence, which is Shiva itself. I am not Jiva, I am Shiva. So this is the purpose of life.
Then, if that is the purpose of life, then why are we, trying to find? I mean, I'm asking this question as a youngster who is trying to
Why are you
find the way.
finding what?
Why am I trying to find a career for myself? That's not the purpose of my life. To be a
No.
dentist is
No, see, why I am trying to find my career as a dentist or whatever is that, right? Meditation, first of all, you start, how many years you studied to become a dentist?
4.5.
No, high school, college,
Yeah,
how many?
12, 16, I don't know, 16, 17 years.
17 years of study has made you a dentist, right? Education is there. How many years of spiritual education you have gone through?
I can't count it. I've never.
You have never gone exposure to spiritual education, a formal education.
No, nothing formal.
No formal education, right? In the sense that you are ignorant of spiritual domain.
I I can't. I wouldn't say. I mean, I know there is this thing.
No, I am
There
saying
is.
a formal education system is missing.
Yes.
I know about dentistry? I have 32 teeth and all. Am I dental doctor? All right, I know how to clean my teeth, but doctor cleans the teeth. Does it make me dentist? There is some amount of formal education you have to go through before you can really understand in a structured way. Right? That is missing. In the absence of that, I would say that many of us have become spiritual illiterates in that sense. Okay. When you become illiterate, how do you learn something? Through trial, error, accidents you learn. Right? So what has happened is that a systematic spiritual education which was imparted to a person in India, okay, it got disrupted over a lot of invasions and disturbances which happened in the country. So in the process, youngsters lost the connectivity to the spiritual truths, and they had to learn from myths, mythologies, not in a structured way. For example, the mythology. Oh, somebody is going and sitting in Himalayas for 30 years. That's a myth. The reality is spiritual education is a basic requirement for everybody. How do I make my mind silent and operate? Now, after making the mind silent, whether you want to operate, become a doctor or an engineer or a musician, doesn't matter. It's an expression, right? But now you have become a doctor not as an expression, but because of survival, right? It is need. Otherwise, you need to do something. Otherwise, you cannot survive, right? It's your survival need. Okay, that's why you become doctor. Probably that becomes your expression also as you become more mature dentist, more mature doctor. But that doesn't mean that you have to sit and meditate for 30 years. Okay, you have to bring meditation into whatever you do. You need a the body mind complex is the expression of you. What you express, I don't know. Music, dance, dentistry, art, right? So with the silent nervous system, the higher order intelligence operates and creates something in the world. A god operating in the human body. Okay. So that's what are many of these people. For example, Lalade sang a song, right? She wrote in more poetic language, right? Or I don't know, she wrote or she sang.
She just sang,
Sang.
yes.
Okay, that poetry is a poetry of higher order intelligence operating through human body complex. Okay, there are musicians like Tyagaraja who composed beautiful music in a higher order intelligence. So there are two ways of operating: a lower order intelligence and higher order intelligence. The lower order of intelligence operation is called Jiva, and higher order of intelligence operation called Shiva. The difference is the quality of the nervous system. Okay, so with that operation, whether you operate as a doctor or a warrior, it doesn't make a difference. Guru Gobind Singh Ji created an army of enlightened soldiers who operate with the higher order intelligence and fought the Mughal army. Okay, so for ultimately Shiva operating through the nervous system, which is pure and silent, is called a nervous system which is pure and silent is called the operation is called Shiva. Then Shiva brings the wisdom into the world where there is ignorance and darkness. It can be through medicine, it can be through war, it can be fighting soldiers. Arjuna was an enlightened warrior. The Sikhs were enlightened soldiers, Guru Gobind Singh, right? So the Lord operates on the earth in the human body. Just because you did a meditation, suddenly from a dentist you doesn't become a dancer. That body mind complex, whatever is there, operates with a higher order intelligence with the same nervous system. To give an example, a musician, okay, somebody has trained body mind complex for musician, a jiva. Let's say he becomes enlightened and he becomes Shiva. Then suddenly he doesn't become a dancer. The instrument is a musician instrument. The beautiful music will come out of that. Understand? Suddenly he will not become a warrior. Somebody who is trained as a warrior, he becomes enlightened. Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Okay. Then suddenly he doesn't become a dancer. Oh, I'll go and dance, or I'll sit in cave in Himalayas. That body mind complex becomes a enlightened warrior to protect and safeguard the interest of the society in a much more beautiful way.
But don't I require enlightenment before I choose a career path for myself?
It would have been ideal that way, but we have missed a bus, missed an opportunity of early spiritual education because of whatever reason, right? But never it is late. Your question is, I would have chosen a I would have chosen a career if I am enlightened earlier.
Yeah, a different career.
Yeah, but then you didn't have a choice because of whatever reason, a early spiritual education, early maturity was missing. Now what you are doing is adult education, right? That's fine. Never too late.
Then what should I do? Just stick to what I am, what I have, what I have trained myself for. Stick to it and try to find beauty or whatever, happiness or
No, 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 no.
whatever that in it, or
No, no, no. You don't, you continue what you are doing because you cannot discontinue what you are doing because of your survival needs.
but that isn't like, what if I feel that maybe I can do something else and
That's what I'm saying. I can do something else is coming from a lower order intelligence. Just allow higher order intelligence infuse into your life. Then what has to be done, what is required for that will appear in your life. Have you heard of this something called synchronicity?
I I mean, I know what the definition would mean, but I don't know the concept of.
Okay. What happens is that in our Sanskrit or English language or Indian language, it's called grace. Krapa. Have you heard of that? A grace. Grace is a higher order intelligence operating in your life. Okay. So it is much beyond your body mind complex, much beyond your small intelligence. The God operating in your life is called grace. To give an example of grace, let us say you are eating food. Okay. Now when you eat food, you take something, put in your mouth. The moment you put in your mouth, mouth opens, some digestive systems open up, some juices are produced. So whole organism operates as a single body, right? Single entity. Even though they are discrete, right? Hand is separate from leg is separate from eyes are separate from stomach, but they are operating as a single entity. Correct? They are not discrete pieces. Okay. So there is a cooperation and collaboration between different organs of your body. When you eat, walk, it operates as a single organism. Correct? So is mouth helping the hand or hand helping the mouth when you eat? Huh?
They are just working. It's a reflex that's happening.
Huh. So this is at the individual level. At the universal level, when Shiva intelligence comes into your life, you are no longer working as an individual. The whole of universe operates along with you, right? So something has to happen through the body mind complex. Lot of support and systems will come from rest of the universe just as a single organism. Okay, that's called grace. That's called synchronicity. So you are no longer operating as an individual, but you are a part of the larger whole. Whatever is required for you will appear in different points of time, different places, irrespective of your individual effort. That's called synchronicity, right? So that can happen only by working for a higher order of intelligence in our life. That higher order of intelligence is called God.
But why can't the higher order intelligence take care of me if I want to, for example, I think that if I am on this earth, my reason for my existence is to probably, because I'm on this earth, I'm here to contribute
Mm-hmm.
in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Right. There has to be some contribution from me.
Correct.
That is why I'm here. But if I'm trying to make that contribution, why can't we? And I have realized this without any meditation, and I'm trying to follow that path to contribute in a way. For example, going. I mean, not that I'm not
No, fair
repeating
enough.
the same thing, but for example, going to a place where I think I'm going to like a place where पीने का पानी नहीं है. So I want to go there. I want to help people, even though I have no training in that. But I think that my formal education may not be enough for me to justify my existence. You know, for me to contribute into this world, maybe the formal education is just not enough. And I think that if I want to just and if I'm trying to justify my existence into this world, why can't the higher authority just take care of me while I'm.
It will take care of you. What is not? Why do you think it is not taking care of you?
Then why do I have to think about all this? I have to have a job, which I need money. I need to take care of roti, kapda, and makan.
See, this is what I'm saying. No?
Why do these things should take priority in my mind?
That's because of you're still operating with a lower order of intelligence. But lower order intelligence job is to take care of your survival needs. So these are all a part of the higher order of intelligence taking care of you. These are all the questions you are moving from one country to other country, seeing, asking questions. These are all part of that, the bigger picture only. You are not. You are always a part of the bigger picture. Right? These questions which arise in you, these thought process which arise in you, is also a part of that. The discussion which happens now is also a part of that.
Like last night, I was just talking to my sister when I was lying down. I was telling her we were just discussing. So I told her that the reason for her, the purpose of life is to find happiness, like you said. Not find happiness because you said happiness is in our nature, so we don't have to seek it, but just to be happy is the purpose of life. So she said the purpose of life is to so she said the purpose of life is different for everyone.
It is not different.
And
expression of life is different for everyone. Purpose of life is same. Don't mix up the purpose and expression. You understand what is expression, what is purpose?
So expression, like you said, the action of play, for example, playing cricket is expression, but purpose is happiness. Purpose is
happiness. Otherwise, why you play cricket? Purpose and expression we should not confuse. Purpose and goal we should not confuse.
But if I'm just thinking about, no, sorry. I was just about to say, if I'm thinking about my happiness, that makes me a very selfish person, doesn't it?
No. So, seeking happiness from somebody makes you selfish. Being happy doesn't make you selfish because you are happiness. Then you can share happiness.
But if I, and like you said, I'm responsible for my happiness, I'm not responsible for someone else's happiness.
No, no, no,
And
no.
if someone
I
else,
didn't say that you are not responsible for somebody else's happiness. Everybody is responsible for their happiness.
hmm,
Okay, right? You are responsible for eating your food. Okay, do I know when you are hungry? You are responsible for eating your food and taking care of body needs. Right? Can I take that responsibility for you? So everybody is responsible for their happiness. You are responsible for your happiness. You become selfish. What is selfish and being happy is selfish person extracts happiness from others, trying to extract happiness from others. Okay, an unselfish person is happy by himself. He doesn't need some to extract happiness from somebody else. He shares his happiness. To be happy, okay, is to be unselfish. Because when you are happy, why are you extracting happiness from somebody else? You don't need slaves to get happiness, right? Whereas a person who is unhappy, he needs slaves, he needs people, he needs somebody to extract happiness. That's what these dictators are. That's what a selfish person is. To be happy is to be unselfish. Then you don't try to say, oh, my wife is not smiling, my husband is not smiling. You're not trying to extract happiness from somebody. You're not demanding attention from somebody. You're by yourself. But when you are happy, your happiness overflows and you can share that happiness. Somebody is sad because he doesn't know how to manage his happiness. He will get a share of your happiness. So it becomes unselfishness.
but how can, that's what I'm saying, how can I be happy if I know there are so many people in this world who are sad? What?
So is your happiness depends on somebody being sad?
It doesn't depend on my, that's what I'm saying, okay, my happiness does not depend upon them. But if they are sad and I am happy, does that not make me
No, if you
selfish?
are happy, you are comfortable with yourself. Then when you are comfortable with yourself, you can find a way of helping them. If you are depressed, how can you help somebody else who is sad? If you are a depressed case, how can you help anybody who is sad? You can help somebody only when you are happy. You can give some money to some 10 persons. Okay, if you have $10,000, you may give $100. Right? If you have $1, how will you help some poor person? Unless you are overflowing with happiness, how can you share and bring happiness to anybody else? Hmm? If you are deficient in happiness, if you are depressed yourself, how can you make somebody else happy? Huh? You should be overflowing with happiness. Should be overflowing with joy, and then only you can share with somebody else. Otherwise, what will happen? You try to extract the happiness from that person. You are making that person's life miserable. That's what relationship in life are. Everybody is trying to extract something out of the other guy, and they call it attachment, love. It's nothing. It's pure selfishness.
But I can understand for all other relations, but when it comes to a parent and a child, when they have given birth to us and when they have taken care of us,
Mhm.
they fed us when we were hungry, when even when we didn't know we are hungry,
All
they
right,
fed us,
right,
they protected us, uh, they have given us all we want, whatever
correct.
has been in, whatever was there in
That's right.
us. Then even and even after that, does my happiness, so if they are sad, like said that this is what attachment is. So even the relation that we share with our parents, is that also just attachment then? Like,
See, you should understand the difference between attachment and love. The love is pure connectedness. I am connected with you, I am connected with the universe, I am connected with the parents. That's called love. The feeling of connectedness and oneness. Attachment is when I am trying to extract something out of that connectedness. Okay? If there is attachment, there is always a hurt and sadness. Pain is associated with that. Because love is the nature of universe. When the wind blows, it is not expecting anything from you in return. When the sky is, sun is giving shining, sun is not expecting anything in return. It's out of pure love. When the love gets corrupted with expectation, that's called attachment. And why did the expectation come? Because of lack of inner happiness. I don't have happiness, so I'm trying to extract happiness out of some relationship. You understand? The basic factor of universe is happiness and love. When there is deficient, there is a suffering. Any questions?
I'm just wondering, then it's very difficult to for people to not expect.
That's because they lack spiritual education. Understand? They lack how to live. That's basic. See, we have learned 15 years of education to make a living as a doctor, as an engineer. We don't have half a day understanding of how to make a life, how to live a beautiful life. That we don't have understanding. And all understanding comes from mythology, some stories, some here, there, some picked up in some random way. There's no systematic understanding, there's no systematic education. Then, when you lack of education for life, how can you be happy? Tell me. You can be a very good doctor, okay? But if you are not trained for making a beautiful life, all your understanding and explosion of life is trial and error. How do I make my life beautiful? Because you don't have a systematic knowledge of what beautiful life is about. It's a trial and error mechanism. Picked up from peers, TV, media, which is all irrational, sometimes random, based on social and societal conditioning. Tell me, you have 15 years of education for making a living as a dentist. How many years of education you have to make yourself as a beautiful person? That's called spiritual education. We lack it. It's not that it is today's situation, but it was not so in India. This all happened, a lot of devastation happened in India because of the wars, because of the atrocities, right? The education system got disrupted. You have to see Macaulay, Lord Macaulay. Even Mughals did not destroy this much, but Britishers did much more damage. Lord Macaulay, 1887, he has written a 1880 was. He was given a responsibility of re-educating Indians. So that time he wrote a commentary on Indian education system. So beautiful commentary. It's available in the net. You read it. How Indians were, how friendly and how loving, how compassionate, how they were working together as a team. So that he systematically destroyed Britishers. That's because a spiritual education was accompanied. There's no substitute, my dear. There's no substitute for a formal understanding of life in a beautiful way.
Unless I start reading about, like you said, about all these Vedas and Puranas and
So much, too much of reading is not required because I'll tell you, reading is variety of things, right? Now, there's so many things. Let us say you want to learn a subject. What is the best way to learn a subject? Reading so many books. or listen to somebody who is experienced in that. Listen to him half an hour, because in that half an hour he'll give you distilled experience, so much of information. Reading is a poor substitute for listening.
But how can we just listen to?
I'm not saying reading is not required. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the priority. How do you gather information?
But then it has to be, like you said, it has to be very structured then, right? Where do I start
That's why I'm telling structure, the right structure I'm telling you.
listening? Okay, but where do I start from?
You have to understand and listen from an expert. Then study is to be supplementary. Study is not primary. Let us say you are doing a dental college, dentistry. So you say, okay, I'll study all dental books and then become a dentist. Is it possible?
No, but the the syllabus has been structured in a way that in year 1 I read this, then my mind is prepared to go to year 2. I'm talking about that like that structure.
So there is a structure prepared. There is a structure in spirituality also.
Yeah, I want to know what that like how can I start with level 1?
Huh.
When will I know what is level 2?
Yeah.
I want to start from level 1.
Yeah, that you can ask. But that is level one is listen to talks of somebody who is evolved. That's level one. Half an hour of listening is equal to reading 10 books. Nowadays, unlike earlier days, they are able to audio, video. Listen to some of them. Listen to the experts. Listen to the people who are really mastered something. Then supplement with the reading. It's not the other way.
But if I just start to okay, this morning I decide I should start my. I mean, of course, there is no formal training, but I should start training myself in the subject of spirituality. And then I start listening to the conversation. But wouldn't that not make me like a half-baked cookie? Because I don't know where to start from. Where should I start? What is the starting point? Should I just
Starting point is start doing meditation. 15 minutes or 20 minutes or 30 minutes of meditation every day. Okay, that's the starting point. Number one, that's a mandatory. Number two, listen to talks of evolved beings, enlightened beings. There are a lot of guys who talk. They're talk shop. There are very, very evolved people. Half an hour of listening to them is worth reading 100 books. Listen to them. Third thing is do selective reading based on what you have listened. Okay, these are the three levels. Right? It is not the other way. By reading 100 books, you cannot become a dentist. Somebody has to prescribe you syllabus. Read this and read this and read
yes,
this.
exactly.